Assalamualaikum. My name is Farrah Sobri and my metric number is 2324776. So right now I will talk about the introduction of the crisis in the Muslim mind. So the crisis in the Muslim mind is a deep and serious problem facing the Muslim world today. This crisis shows itself to confusion about values, attempt to solve problem by copying foreign ideas or sticking blindly to old tradition, and it also lack of clear modern Islamic vision. And the most cause of this crisis is the gap between Islamic thinking and the reality of modern life. So because of this, Muslim countries are weak and divided. So according to Muhammad Amin in 2022, he said that outside forces can easily control them. People will feel homeless and powerless. So definition of crisis in the Muslim mind, the word crisis is defined as time of intense difficulty, trouble or danger. Based on this definition, the Muslim Ummah has been and is currently experiencing several differences, crises, including political, economic, social and religious. So this is why Muslims cannot improve their self-efficiency to control their life and utilize Islamic value in this world. So hindering their ability to contribute meaningful to global progress and address their own unique challenges effectively.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Adlina Hayati, Binti metric number 2222520. Moving on to the next presentation, which is what is the nature of crisis in Muslim mind. So here I will be providing 3 main points while highlighting what does it mean and why it is a problem to the society. So the first point is the crisis in Muslim mind lies on the intellectual crisis of the Muslim itself. What does it mean? It means the real problem is the way Muslims think, not just for the external factors such as government issues or poverty issues and etc. So why does it is a problem to the society? When we have poor intellectual or ability to think properly, we cannot succeed in understanding or planning or even making a decision to make our life better. This is in Muslim mind is when the loss of creative and critical thinking skills. What does it mean? It means in the past, Muslims were very succeed in science, in art, or even technology because they use their creative and critical thinking skills when solving a problem. But gradually after that, many Muslims stopped using their ijtihad or independent learning and instead using their taqlid or blind imitation by following other successors. So why does it is a problem? It is a problem when they stop thinking critically and creatively, instead using their taqlid. They will fall behind because the new problems need new solution. I can accuse that to overcome this crisis, Muslims need to revive their tradition of free thinking, reason, and openness by staying true to the core values of Muslims. The third point is the nature of crisis of the Muslim mind is when people misinterpreting the Islam's true spirit. What does it mean? It means many Muslims have misunderstood what the real message of Islam is because they treat religion as a set of strict rules or use it as a political slogan instead of seeing it as a way to improve themselves and make life better. Rafa Badi contends that a fragmented approach to Islamic teachings has resulted from the gradual separation of intellectual pursuits from spiritual awareness. So why this is a problem? It is a problem because when we gain knowledge without feeling of spiritual meaning or doing something religious rituals without understanding why, people will lose the true spirit of Islam because they practice without real understanding of it.
Okay, continue to my part, which is the example of crisis in Muslim mind. And here I want to give one common example of the crisis in Muslim mind, which is the loss of human fitrah, which is a natural disposition. As we know, every human being is born with fitrah. Okay, what is fitrah? Fitrah is the innate toward doing something good, such as giving charity, seeking knowledge, and also fulfilling obligatory duties. However, with the rapid growth of technology, This fitrah is increasingly weakened. Entertainment worldwide is easily accessible to anyone at any time. As a result, Muslims become addicted to these harmful influences such as drugs, pornography, zina, and other social issues. This addiction leads them away from their true purpose in life and deepens their intellectual and spiritual crisis facing the ummah. Thus, their future is being ruined and replaced by other desires. So, according to Antasari and Darmawan 2023 in their journal, they said that the erosion of fitrah among Muslims is exacerbated by modern distractions and the loss of spiritual focus. So, for the next example of crisis in Muslim mind is secularism. As we know, many Muslim countries today, especially in Middle East and North Africa, or even in Southeast Asia like Malaysia and Indonesia, practice secularism. Even though, as we know, Islam is a shumuliyah, a comprehensive way of life, but in reality is not fully implemented. Instead, many Muslim societies nowadays imitate Western model. For example, in Malaysia, Sharia law is often seen as a secondary law to civil law. This version limits Islam to only something like ibadah or even like nikah. Farrah only limits to that, while actually Islam is broader societal guidance for everything in life, and most of them is being neglected, like how bank work in Islam, how actually economy work in Islam is all neglected. As a result, Muslims learn Islam separately from science and separately from politics, causing confusion and weakening their connection to the true Islamic values. While historical research show that secularism actually often conflict with Islamic teachings that can lead to crisis of identity and purpose among Muslims. So, this example show that there is crisis in Muslim mind that need to be solved. I'll pass this presentation to the next presenter.
One of the primary causes of the crisis in the Muslim mind is the loss of adab, which means the loss of discipline, proper etiquette, and the acknowledgement of each thing's rightful place in the hierarchy of being and knowledge. Adab ensures the right application of knowledge, the recognition of true authorities, and the maintenance of spiritual and social order. When adab is lost, individuals no longer know how to properly relate the knowledge, leading to confusion, which is fitnah, between truth and falsehood, good and evil, and right and wrong. This confusion becomes embedded in the educational system, leadership, and social behavior, causing moral and intellectual decay within the ummah. Next is the secularization of knowledge. Modern disciplines like economics, politics, and science are taught devoid of any divine framework. Contemporary education system present knowledge through a secular lens rooted in atheistic and materialistic assumptions. As a result, Muslim students and scholars are trained to view the world mechanistically, without acknowledging God's sovereignty over all aspects of reality. This secular theory of knowledge breeds a dual personality among Muslims, such as religious in rituals but secular in thinking and action, which further widens the gap between Islamic teachings and the modern life. Lastly, another major cause is materialistic and hedonism. In Crisis in the Muslim Minds, the author warns that Muslims have increasingly prioritized worldly success, wealth, and sensual pleasures over spiritual growth and moral integrity. Materialism becomes the new religion, displacing the true objective of life, such as attaining taqwa and seeking knowledge for the sake of Allah. The obsession with consumerism, status, and technological advancements results in a society where ethical considerations are neglected and the deeper purposes of existence are forgotten. One of the primary causes of the crisis in the Muslim mind is the loss of adab, which means the loss of discipline, proper etiquette, and the acknowledgement of each thing's rightful place in the hierarchy of being and knowledge. Adab ensures the right application of knowledge, the recognition of true authorities, and the maintenance of spiritual and social order. When adab is lost, individuals no longer know how to properly relate the knowledge, leading to confusion, which is fitnah, between truth and falsehood, good and evil, and right and wrong. This confusion becomes embedded in the education system, leadership, and social behavior, causing moral and intellectual decay within the ummah. Next is the secularization of knowledge. Modern disciplines like economics, politics, and science are taught devoid of any divine framework. Contemporary education system present knowledge through a secular lens rooted in atheistic and materialistic assumptions. As a result, Muslim students and scholars are trained to view the world mechanistically, without acknowledging God's sovereignty over all aspects of reality. This secular theory of knowledge creates a dual personality among Muslims, such as religious individuals but secular in thinking and action, which further widens the gap between Islamic teachings and the modern life. Lastly, another major cause is materialistic and hedonism. In Crisis in the Muslim Minds, the author warns that Muslims have increasingly prioritized worldly success, wealth, and sensual pleasures over spiritual growth and moral integrity. Materialism becomes the new religion, displacing the true objective of life, such as attaining taqwa and seeking knowledge for the sake of Allah. The obsession with consumerism, status, and technological advancements results in a society where ethical considerations are neglected and the deeper purposes of existence are forgotten.
So I'm presenting the solution. The first solution is reforming Islamic methodology. Modern Islamic thought lacks a rigorous systematic framework, leading to misinterpretations and intellectual stagnation. To address this, scholars must apply both deductive and inductive methods, embracing empirical research for deeper understanding. Reform requires integrating Islamic goals and values with modern reality, ensuring that education and governance reflect this transformation. The Quran and core element of the Sunnah should serve as primary sources, while fiqh and other works play a supporting role. We also need to critically assess Western and Islamic knowledge, distinguishing relevant from irrelevant ideas, and pass judgment based on Islamic worldview, maqasid, and values. We also need to develop original solution for contemporary Muslim and global challenge. Islamic institutions should prioritize critical thinking, leadership, problem solving, and analytical skills to equip the next generation for civilizational progress. The sciences of civilization must be central to education and social reform. The second solution, which is overcoming the weaknesses in contemporary Islamic thinking. Many Muslim scholars blindly follow Western methodologies, assuming they are error-free without critical assessment. A lack of originality in education has resulted in a poor imitation of Western model instead of self-sustained Islamic intellectual tradition. The solution is to develop systematic integrated research in law and social sciences, aligning Islamic scholarship with contemporary challenge. The third solution, which is integrating Islamic and secular education. Abu Sulaiman and other scholars call for ending the dual education system by integrating Islamic knowledge with modern sciences. A unified system must have Islam as guiding force, ensure Sharia knowledge is accessible to all, not just scholars, recognize Islam as a comprehensive way of life relevant to every Muslim endeavor. This integration will create an intellectually empowered ummah capable of addressing contemporary issues effectively. So the last solution, which is developing a strong Muslim intellectual foundation. Islamic education must focus on building a well-rounded Muslim personality, including mental, intellectual, psychological, spiritual, moral, physical, and social development. Reform must integrate human nature, divine laws, Quranic principles, prophetic practice, and contemporary social sciences. The Ummah must revive practice ijtihad, ensuring civilizational renewal. The values of justice, compassion, equality, integrity, and dignity must form the foundation of this renewal.
The crisis of the Muslim mind refers to the confusion and stagnation in thinking where Muslims struggle to connect Islamic teachings with modern life. For example, some blindly follow traditions without understanding the true spirit of Islam. This crisis is intellectual and spiritual in nature, caused by the loss of critical thinking, ijtihad, misinterpretation of Islamic principles, and broken education system. So to solve it, Muslims must revive the Islamic knowledge, practice proper adab, ethics, reform education, and balance religion values with modern realities to rebuild a strong and a thoughtful ummah. I think that's all for our group. Thank you.